Hello and welcome to today's video. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I've got a massive day ahead of me. I've got to pull out all the vintage Penguin paperback stock that I've been cleaning up over the last month or so, get it out, get it priced and get it ready for next weekend's paperback shows. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so a bit of an epic day it was on Friday, and some of the bits I didn't actually record any sort of commentary for, so I'm just doing the voiceover now. And these books that we're seeing now have been up into the studio. I've cleaned them as best I can, repaired them if they needed it, but basically get them looking as good as I possibly can. Then I've pulled my existing books out from my current collection, and I've had the books sort of side by side. I've selected the best looking copies for myself, and then the ones which were doubled up and slightly lower grade copies compared to the ones I'm keeping. Those are the ones that we're looking at right here, and these are basically all my doubles and spares. So everything that you see today I've already got in my main Penguin collection. So these are all duplicates. And when I bought the big collection from Matt, well, it was almost 2 months ago now, about 6 weeks or so ago, I very much knew that I'd be doubling up on about half of what I bought, maybe even a bit more than that. But I knew that I had lots of upgrades, and also it was such an opportunity to buy a lot of the tail end books, so sort of from 1,000 to 3,200 in one hit, that I just didn't want to miss up that opportunity. It's just, they don't come along very often. And the collection itself came from Alan, who is Matt's granddad. And Alan had been collecting since the early 1970s. So he's a big Penguin collector, and he collected absolutely everything published by the company. So right up into, much past the 1970 cutoff for me. So there are later ISBN books in the collection, which I've got a couple of hundred, which I'm going to go through, but I don't think I just don't have the space to collect much beyond 3,200. I just don't have the room. Which is why I've sort of cut off my Pelican run at 600 as well, rather than going up to 1,000, because I just don't really have the space. And the books are of less interest to me. There's some great stuff post 1970 in Penguin, don't get me wrong. So favourite authors, Graham Greene, Hemingway, George Orwell, all the Penguin science fiction, any modern classics, all of that I'll be keeping in my main collection. But more run-of-the-mill stuff, some of the non-fiction, that I'm just going to have to let it go. But this was, it was a fantastic day. I loved getting all this stuff out. The house was absolutely empty. My wife was at work all day. My son was also working. So I had the house to myself. So I put on some good music and got sorted. And it was a day like none other. The place was absolutely rammed with penguins come the end of it, which we'll see. So I've done some montages. I put some photos up as well of what the rooms were looking like. So the kitchen, diner and the front room, I mean, they were absolutely stacked with stuff. And ultimately I wanted to take them out of these brown boxes. So that box you see there in the background was the original shipping box for when the collection came over from France, which is where Alan is, the original curator of this collection. He lives in France, but they were shipped over by his grandson to get shot of over here. And it's a huge job. It really, really is. And I don't envy having to sell an entire collection like this. It's just enormous. But I think he's gone about it the right way. I mean, he's doing books 1 to 500 have been sold on eBay, or are being in the process of being sold on eBay. Matt himself is going to be at the Penguin AGM, which is coming up. So that's just a week away. So he'll have a lot of the collection there to sell direct to other Penguin collectors. And it's worth noting that you don't have to be a member of the Penguin Collectors Society to attend the Penguin Collectors Show in Exeter. So it's open to all. And there'll be lots of Penguin related discussion, and there will be other dealers there. There'll be myself, Matt, there'll be other collectors who are bringing along their doubles, so I imagine there'll be plenty of bargains. There's also a Penguin speaker, someone who used to work for Penguin's going to be there, which will be fascinating. So it'll be great, and if you're interested in joining the club, I'm sure you can sign up there and then to become a fully paid up member of the Penguin Collectors Society, and well worth it is too. They produce some really, really top end publications each year, as well as the newsletter. And I've been a member since 1994, so 30 years now. I've been in that particular club, and it's been going since 73, 74, so 50 years as a society. And yeah, this is only the second AGM I've actually got round to going to. I went to one about 20 years ago in London, which was absolutely fantastic. I remember meeting a lot of what you would almost call penguin collecting legends back then. People like Russell Edwards, Steve Hare, Brian Kesterton, met Joe Pearson for the first time. All of these people I was meeting for the first time. Some of them sadly no longer with us, but it was such a great show, meeting other collectors. Everyone's so welcoming. And certainly I like the spirit of it. And that's true at the London Paperback Show. And I'm sure the one at Zardoz AllYouNeedIsBooks on the Sunday will be equally as good. There's a really good sort of vibe in the room. Everyone's having a good time. And I think because we're all paperback lovers, and there's places when you go to the book shows, they're stacked with bargains. Yes, there'll be a few more collectible books, which will be slightly more expensive. But there will be lots and lots of bargains, and that's what I like when I go to these shows. Come away with a box load of books. It's fantastic. A bit different this time because I'm taking up literally box loads and box loads of books. And, you know, as the day went on, I realised that by far I'm going to have more books to sell than I'm going to have space for. But the good news is, it's unlike, say, the London Paperback Show, which is in the London Holiday Inn, and space is at a premium. They could sell that show out 3 times over. So every inch of space is accounted for. At the Penguin Show, and I believe at Morris's show in Zardoz AllYouNeedIsBooks, there will be a bit of room to spread out. So I'm going to have a table at both events, plus I'm going to bring along a little pasting table, and I shall get out the books as best I can in comic box lids, so that they're stood up and rigid. They'll all be in order, so all the series, main series from the earliest numbers right through to the latest ones. Anything that's cheap and cheerful, and I'm going to have, you know, a good selection of books at just £1 a book, or 3 for £2. So real bargain basement penguins. They will be just under my table. They're sort of, you know, rummage boxes, as it were. Although they'll all be in order to begin with, they may not stay in order. So I'm going to have the dirt cheap stuff underneath, 3 for £1. Then anything between £1.50 and £4 will be just in numerical order on my table, or tables, in the comic box lids. And then anything special, so from £4.50 literally up to, I've got a book or a couple of books which are £40 each, so quite nice and expensive and rare books. Those will be sort of separate and stood up. Anything which is £4 or above has been bagged up to give it extra protection. So they've been put into professional paperback bags or digest bags to give them the extra level of protection. But what I really want to stress is that I've made an absolute massive point of not overpricing the books. I've got a lot of books here which are all doubles, and I want to get shot of them. That is clear. So I'm up for deals. So if you're buying an awful lot, you know, I will give some discount. You know, it's the way that these things go, particularly for a cash buyer. But in all seriousness, it is quite common for, you know, people to say, oh, well, if I spend, you know, 50 quid, we give a £5 off. Of course, absolutely. I'm all about moving the books on to other collectors. Well, I hope everyone finds something that they're going to be looking for, because, well, apart from what I've got, there's going to be so much there. I mean, I'm hoping not to see too much that I actually want. I want to be getting rid of books, not bringing more back. But I know for a fact I'm bound to see something. It's inevitable. But that's not a bad thing, really. So I shall bring everything that you see in the video today. I'm going to have space in the car to bring along with me, I hope. I'm pretty confident I will. But I'm not going to be able to bring all of it along. So as it stands now, as I'm recording this, I've got a week to go, but I've still got 900 more books still to get processed. And I don't think I'm going to have time to process them before the show. I might get a chance to do another couple of hundred if I'm lucky, but I don't think I'm going to have time to do them all. So if there is later books, so sort of from say 2,500 to 3,200, and there's stuff in there that you're particularly interested in, I will go through, I'll scan those boxes, and if there's anything special, I'll bring them with me. But if there's anything just a bit more run-of-the-mill, numerical wise, that you're looking for, perhaps just drop me an email at julesburt@gmail.com, and I'll have all that stuff sorted over the next couple of weeks. So I'll have the whole collection processed by then, and I'll have the doubles sorted as well, and I'll be able to fill out wants lists. I must have done on the back of this collection at least 20, 25 parcels gone right round the world. And once I've got all this lot sorted today, I've got another 6 wants lists to fill out of stuff that people have sent me, and I said I would hold off on those until I had all the books back out again, so it'll be less for me to take to the show, and it's stuff that people specifically want. So by all means, send me some wants lists if you've got wants and you can't make the shows, but I won't be able to actually tackle any of them because all the books will be packed back up until after the shows. So you send them whenever you've got it ready, ideally by Penguin series number and title, and then when I get back, I'll be able to fish out any specific orders and send you some photographs of what the books are like and how much they are. Eventually, I do intend to do some sales videos, and I'll try and do sort of 500 blocks of 500 at a time. So like Penguins, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500, 1,500 to 2,000, and so on. And I'll just go through the books in numerical order, go through them, price them, you can have a good look at them, and then I'll just accept orders that way on the back of a sales video. So that'll be coming in due course as well, within the next month for anything that is unsold. I will have some author lots which I'm pulling together, so I'm going to have like a C.S. Forster lot, an Ernest Hemingway lot, Anthony Poole lot, the Quatermass books. I'm going to have these at the shows, so some of them may well sell, but if they don't, you want to get in quick with those, because else they're going to be heading to eBay. Because they're bulks, and people like to buy a certain author in one foul swoop, and I think this was a good chance to put some job lots together of a particular author, like it's the Complete Hornblower run, for example, which is really, really desirable to get in one hit, and the Penguin editions are just so lovely to read with those John Jakes covers. They're just beautiful. Okay, so I've got all the boxes unpacked now, and on the table here we've got the sort of slightly more expensive books, and then these are ones that I've already sorted into a price pile. See the little tickets there, £2.50, £1.50, £3. These are all in price pile, but they're not priced inside. So I'm going to have to go through, I'm going to put a pencil price just on the inside, and I'm going to put these all in order, so they'll be really easy to be shopped. Over here we've got all of these books here, which are books that have been recently cleaned from the big collection. They've been compared against my own existing copies. So none of these have been sorted into a price point yet. And we've got the B formats, some later 70s stuff as well, some Pelhams, what have you. And then the puffins that have been sorted by price. I've got a couple of orders to fulfill, a couple of wants lists that have come my way, and then I'll start getting this all sorted. But I think on first impressions, this is everything that I've got. I have miles too much to actually take to the show. I'll take it all with me, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get even half of this out. It looks like there's just too much here. So the next stage then, I've pulled a couple of orders, but now I have to very lightly, is price each book up, ready for the show. So anything which is £4 or above is going to be in a bag of its own. And anything that's £3.50 or less, I'm just going to pop a pencil price inside, and then I'll put all this stock back into series order, so it'll be easy to shop. And I think that's going to be the key to it, really, is that when people come up to the shows, at a glance, because time is going to be precious, at a glance they need to be able to go through and check to see exactly if the numbers that they're looking for are going to be there. So all of this stuff that's already been sorted and priced is all going to need a handwritten price on before I start going through and writing and sorting and pricing the rest of it. So it's going to be a bit of a job, but it has to be done. And I don't really know how long this is going to take. I might need to enlist the help of my son, who's on a day off work today. But I am doing this a week before the shows actually start, so I do have a bit of time to get everything priced up and in order. But yeah, looking at it all, I really don't think I'm going to be able to get everything out on the tables. There's just too much of it. But you never know. I think in both cases, at both shows, I will have plenty of room to spread out. I don't think it's like the London paperback show where space is really at a premium. So I will have at least one big table at each show, plus my own pasting table, and I'll just have stuff. I'll have all the cheap stuff underneath the table, all the stuff that's £1, and anything that's £1.50 to £4 will be in the racks, and anything which is £4.50 upwards will be bagged, and also it'll be separate. So I'll be able to sort of make a little display of the really best stuff, I suppose. So that's the plan. But I'm hoping that we're going to see lots of collectors with very big wants lists and very fat wallets. Ideally, that's what we want. So I priced up the first couple of 100 puffins. Now we're starting on that main series. And these are all just £1. These are going to be clearance. Get them while they're cheap. I don't think you're going to go far wrong at £1 a book, really, on these, you know. So all this £1 stock, it is all books that have got faults. And they'll be just in boxes underneath the table. But I think that's going to be the key for both shows. I think if you can get to either of the shows, you will get lots of bargains. And I think that is going to be the main greatest thing about it. Loads of choice and absolutely loads of bargains, which will make it worth your while. So obviously, if you can get to the shows, please do. And just so you can see, it's not all main series books. I've got Penguin Guides and all sorts here. These are all just £1 a book. Clearance. Some classics. Low grade, but cheap. Some classics, some reference. Loads of good stuff, a few pelicans. All £1 a piece. Time to fill your boots is what I say. But this is the lower end stuff, which will be just £1 a book, probably 3 for £2, something like that. A French one. And the rather lovely phrase books. Love these. couple of those at £1. All good stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is the remainder of my puffin stock up to number 400, and I am just going to pop it into price piles. So I'm going to have a look over the books, make a decision on the price on these, and start some piles. These are £2 a pop. That's quite nice. That's £2.50. Yeah, a little bit the worse for wear, that one, and it's got a bit of the bottom writing. That's just £1. £2. So the way I decide these is obviously my own sort of personal knowledge of the prices of these books, plus the condition, rarity, plus I want the books to sell ultimately, so they need to be priced accordingly. So I've got £1, £1.50, £2, £2.50. £1.50 on that one. Anything special gets pulled out to one side. But I think for a really clean book like that, £2.50 is not unreasonable for these. So I'll put them into price piles, then I'll price them, then I'll put them into the main run. So that's the plan. £1.50 on that one. So if you see any here that you fancy, and you think, oh, I'd have that for £2.50, well, you know what to do. That's well worth £2.50. Books Delights. Yep, 3 on that one. They're slightly more collectible, the C.S. Lewis ones. But these are later ones now, so I'm not going to go crazy. Some of these like that is scarce, but in that condition, I can only really ask £1.50. This one's not too bad. I'll put 2 on that. £1.50. Name inside, so 2. All the books are first Penguin and or Puffin editions, which is cool. Number 275 here, no, Professor Brainstorm. 2. Dr. Dolittle, all taped up, straight into the pound box, that one. That's also not great. After here, you can't really ask too much for these post 300 ones, and I'm not going to, if they're tip-top shape, maybe £2 a book, but unless it's something super collectible, it's not bad. Got a worn spine, so £1.50. Dr. Dolittle with a spine on, £1.50. It's not too bad. This one's a bit more worn, £1.50. Same with that, £1.50. 8 mil. That's all right. 2 on that one. Faded spine. Apart from that, a nice copy. £2. Now the last stage before the show then is to, now that I've completed all these puffins, is to pop them into these comic boxes. Now I can get 2 rows in here, and the way I'm thinking of merchandising these is using the comic box lids to lay them out tray style, and I should be taking up twice as many lids as boxes that I take, so I should be able to lay everything out. That's the plan, because I do have plenty of other. This is basically how I keep my books, the ones that aren't on the shelves, you know. But these are now all priced, and they're all in numerical order. So collectors coming along, it should be very straightforward for them to just go through with their wants lists and find, hopefully, exactly the books that they're looking for, with a bit of luck. Now, I don't want to overfill the book. I don't want to put stuff on top, because each row will be sort of laid out in there. So this is sort of what I've got in mind. So I'll have box lids like this, and then the really special stuff is going to sort of go behind, stood up. So that'll all be sort of bagged up. So the nice ones are bagged up stuff, and that's how it's going to be. So there we are. So I better mark that puffin. Puffins 1. And then there'll be Puffins 2 plus the other miscellaneous series like the guides and stuff like that. So yet more books to get priced up, and I was surprised at how long individually pricing the books actually took. I suppose if you worked in a second-hand bookshop, you could just sort of potter around and do this during the day, but to have so many to do at one time, it was almost like a workman-like attitude I had to take to it. As I said, there wasn't anyone around. I couldn't enlist my son to give me a hand because he was already at work. And my wife was at work, so I was just on my own. And on reflection, I think I should have drafted in a mate who would have loved to have gone through and given me a hand doing some of this. But there you go. That's how these things are. But it's not a chore going through so many beautiful books. And one thing I have noticed is I've come across, while processing the collection, I've come across so many books that I want to read that I still actually haven't got around to doing. And it's really made me want to dig in a bit more to my classic backlist. And I've probably got a short list of about 12 that I want to be reading literally before the year is up. And maybe a few more. That's sort of on the list. It's when you're handling books all day, you can't help but get sucked in by titles, and then you start reading them and think, oh, that looks really good, I want to give that one a try. There's other authors I'd forgot, that Penguin published some of their books, and there was other books by them that I didn't even realize I had, like Henry Williamson, for example. I know a lot of his paperbacks, that main run that he did, were published in Panther, but of course Penguin and Puffin, for example, did a lot of his nature books. So some of those are included in this collection, in fact, and I might well pull some of them out. But it's all good stuff, and what an enjoyable, if time-consuming process it was, getting all these books priced up. So it's now 3:30. So I've been at it for 7 hours, and I've now finished all the hand pricing. And these are the books that are £4 a pop. So these are going to be in comic bags with a sticker on. But it's been absolutely ridiculous. A lot of work, you could say. I mean, I'm going to be bringing all the stock with me, but there's no way I can get it all out. There's just too much of it. But I'll have it on hand, and I'll get out what I can, because I think there'll be plenty of room to spread out. As I said, as well as the table that I've got a little pasting table, which I'll take with me, where I'll be able to get a few extra boxes of stuff out. And they'll be cheap and cheerful underneath the table, so it should be okay. But yes, what a lot of stuff. But whatever I don't sell at the 2 shows, I will be happy to accept once lists after the show. And I'm also going to be doing some sales videos as well. So there will be a chance for you to get some of this. Some of these I've got more than one copy of, you know, so it's not like it's the only copy that you're likely to see. But these better books, they do deserve to be protected. Since they are so nice. And these ones you're seeing here, I've priced up at £4 each. Because they're all first editions. All the books you see here, all the books that I sell, with a couple of exceptions, are first printings. First Penguin printings, I should say. Get these all taped up. And they do look really nice, all bagged up. This one was too big for a regular bag, so he's going in a tabloid. So I don't generally do book fairs or toy fairs as a dealer. And the only reason I'm doing it today really is because of the big collection I bought a little while back. But at present, I just don't have the time to be a book dealer. But maybe when I retire, I might put a bit of time towards it for fun, you know. But right now, I don't really have the time to devote to it. But I hope you've enjoyed seeing the process, because this is how I have done it of old when I was a dealer. So I've got 2 stacks of these. This is the first stack. I've got another stack over there. And then that would be all the books that I'd already previously sorted out and priced. Done. And then that leaves all the stuff on the top here to still be priced. But at least I'll be able to pull a few customer orders and box it all away. It's then ready basically for next week. It's all done, dusted, priced, ready to get to the show and squeeze out onto the table as much as I possibly can. So now pretty much the last stage is sticking on the sticker. As I said, these are all £4 a book. and I'll pop these into the main run. Anything more than £4 is going to be kept separate at the show and highlighted, whereas these ones here, they're going to be going into the main numbered run. I have got about, now that I've got them all out, I have got about 6 wants lists to get through, much more than I thought. So I'm going to do that one last time before the books get packed away, and then they are literally ready for the show next week. So it's been a long day. I'm still not quite done, but the end is in sight now. So that's good news. And I have got next Friday as well as like a little extra day to get things ready, get the car loaded, ready for action. Making an early start Saturday morning to get to Exeter promptly. Slide them over there. But yeah, since I've had the collection in, I mean, the books have gone literally around the world. It's been amazing. Absolutely amazing. So do feel free to send me some wants lists, or of course meet me at the show. That would be ideal. And come and say hello and have a look at the books in person. You cannot beat a good book show, and the Penguin one's going to be very, very good. The one at Zardoz, well, who knows? I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. There's some good dealers going along. And I mean, just a trip to Morris's alone is worth the effort. And the fact that you'll be able to go into his warehouse is quite unusual. So for that reason alone, it's probably worth going. But the fact that there's going to be stacks of other paperback dealers as well, it's just, you know, you're going to be spoiled, really. But that's all of these done. So I'm going to slide these into the numbered racks, and I'm going to go around and pull all the different wants lists. So that is my next job. And then these numbers, which I've done up to about number 1500 or so, these can all actually get packed away, ready for the show. Okay, so this is the stock that I've got up to about 1400. It's all priced, it's ready for action. This is very similar to how it's going to be laid out on the tables at the shows. It's all in order, everything's individually priced. The problem is the other stuff. So here's the rest of the books, as I said, up to about 1500 or so. I'm going to have some job lots by particular authors, which I'm pulling together. So that's all priced and ready, but I've got all of that there, which isn't priced yet. So that's my next job. Once I've pulled all the sort of wants lists, I need to get all of this priced out and filed away. But I haven't got anything like enough room to actually put any of this out, but I will bring it with me. So it'll all be in order, and if people have got specific wants lists, I can just have sort of the boxes behind me ready to pull out. None of it's going to be that expensive. And what about the 900 or so books I've still got to actually process before next weekend? Somehow I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But there you go. Awesome. So there we are. What an amazing day, and I'm absolutely exhausted, and I'm still not quite done because I've got to get all this lot boxed up yet. However, I have had official confirmation from the Penguin Collectors Society that anyone, you don't even need to be a member, anyone can rock up to their show, their AGM and their sales show on Saturday the 7th of September. The address is on the screen now, so you don't need to be a member of the Collectors Society, but you can go along. They will be having a stall, no doubt, with the Society publications. I shall be there with all of this lot. My friend Matt will be there with another couple of thousand books, plus other collectors will be bringing along their spares for swapping and selling. It will just be a really good celebration of all things Penguin. So if you are anywhere near the Exeter area, it's completely free to get in from 10 o'clock. Go along there and have a really, really great penguin-filled fun day. Now, the following day, the Sunday the 8th, we are at the Zardoz AllYouNeedIsBooks book fair. Now, that's a bit of a different kettle of fish because it's not penguin specific. It is many, many different sorts of vintage paperbacks, including Morris in his incredible warehouse. So Morris has the website, AllYouNeedIsBooks, and that's all stored in a couple of warehouses which are adjacent to each other. Plus, Morris has got a £1 a book retail store. So it's huge, it's shelved all the way around, floor to ceiling, in the middle as well. All the books in there are just £1 a piece. There's loads of science fiction, loads of like collectible paperbacks. I've found some real bargains there myself. So that will be available for you to visit. As well as paperback dealers, I should be there with all my stock. Dorset Bob will be there with all his science fiction and specialist fantasy stock as well. Plus other dealers from around the country, all descending on Morris's warehouse. So that's on Sunday the 8th of September. And once again, the address is on the screen now. So do go along to both events. I don't think there's anything like entry fee at all. They're both sort of free. So just turn up and have a really good, fun, paperback filled day. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this behind the scenes look at my preparation for the show. Thankfully, I've got next Friday as well, so the day before the Penguin show, just to get my last bits and pieces in order and get the last few bits loaded into the car, ready for what's going to be a very busy weekend. If you are coming along, definitely come by, say hello, say you've watched the channel and do introduce yourself. I will be filming both events as well, not, you know, all day or anything like that, but I'll try and capture some highlights. And if you want to be in the next video, well, just let me know. But anyway, thank you very much for watching today. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button for regular vintage paperback content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.